Paracas and Nasca Gold work is very difficult to separate or to tell apart, and the reason for that is that the Nasca folks continue many of the traditions that were begun by Paracas. Both cultures used very thin sheets of gold and created pretty elaborate silhouettes. Both of them also used repoussé to create the details on the surface of the gold sheets. The goal in both cases also was pretty much like today to create as much bling as possible. By that I mean to create as much of a continuous shiny surface as the artist could possibly make. This would give more shine to the image and make the image and the person wearing it appear to be much more otherworldly. These very thin sheets of gold also could shine more because they did not require a lot of alloy being added to strengthen the image, because it didn't need to hold a shape, it didn't need to hold anything, it didn't need to be as strong as a cup or a ring, for example, to preserve the form. Nevertheless, this did indeed require a lot of skill to create, because we're an artist and what we're doing is starting with a natural lump of gold. We have to hammer it, we have to heat it, and we have to create the very precise, sharp, clear edges to create the image that we see on the screen right now. This is figure 56. It is from Nasca, we believe, and it is a whiskered mouth mask. It is gold with a touch of copper added into it, and it would have been worn like a nose ring, so that it would have actually been suspended from the septum. What that also means is that this would have been able to move a little bit to enhance the reflections as the wearer moved about, making this look even more impressive and perhaps at the end of the day, again, more otherworldly. There is an opening for the mouth, and then there's a kind of collar shape around that. And the whiskers, let's find them. The whiskers are right here. The whiskers also include terminations that end in snakes. Little snake heads right here. So I'm going to count these also as additional whiskers. All of this would transform the image of the wearer. We do expect that the people who wore these were generally shamans. They would also have worn not just mouth masks, but perhaps full face masks, also forehead masks, and the Nasca also produced frontlists that could be attached to a headband or a headdress that was being worn. All of this was aimed at transforming the appearance, the reality essentially, of the wearer, moving the wearer from the realm of reality to the realm of the supernatural. And we think that the use of otherworldly material like gold for this purpose was certainly shared with Nasca, with Paracas, and also I'd like you to go back and think of Chavin, where it was used for the same purpose there. These objects would have been worn in life on ritual occasions, we think, but they also would have been attached to mummy bundles so that they could have accompanied the dead in the next world as well. This is a second example, a little bit different. The work on the bottom, nevertheless, is again a mouth mask, and this time we have serpent whiskers. And by that I do mean that the whiskers actually end in serpent heads. So we've got one little head, 2, 3, 4 on each side, and you can see the embossed eyes of our serpents. And then there is a fifth serpent that curls around to meet above the nose, basically the top of the nose. The thing that's really extraordinary about these, though, is that they include some particularly happy faces. If you go right down here, you're going to see a set of embossed eyes, and then you're going to see a really broad smile. That happy expression may indeed reference the state of mind of the shaman after ingesting mind-altering substances. We can actually see the way in which these were worn by referring to Nasca ceramics. In our textbook, figure 58, which is on the left over here, we have a Nasca drum vessel, which we're going to look at in more detail a little bit later. For right now, I'd like you to see that it is a human being, or a human-like being, supernatural, or most likely a shaman, who is being transformed as he is wearing these golden objects. And the mouth mask, which is located right here, is similar in many ways to the gold example that we have already looked at. These are the whiskers, and I even have for you a couple happy faces. You can follow around, and these are the serpents that extend and come around the nose, reaching more or less to the top of the nose. The bottom portion, this portion which is painted on the ceramic directly underneath the mouth mask, I think represents the traditional collar form that actually is part of the mouth mask. In addition to that, this individual is wearing a forehead mask, and that's located directly up here. So together, the two of them would have provided a lot of shiny surface, which would have helped to transform the person from the realm of reality to the realm of the supernatural, changing the nature of who that person was. This is just a last example. This comes from Yale's University Museum collection. And unfortunately, the two pieces, this one, the whiskered part and the collared part, they've come apart. They should probably have gone together. This again would have been a nose ring, but it also certainly would have been a mouth mask. And this one is quite similar to the example that I've showed you with the happy faces and with the whiskers that terminate in serpents. So we have enough of these to know that these were made in some quantity and that they belonged almost certainly to the elite, and in particular were probably part of the regalia of the shaman. The other gold objects that accompany the two pieces at the top and center are ear spool covers. So these would have been relatively large and again glitzy, reflective surfaces for the elite to wear, made out of gold, a precious material restricted to the elite, but also a material that was by its very reflective nature a part of the other reality.